Did anyone ask for unscripted content? Well, here it is. Today, I basically just wanted to give my impressions on what I think about the new Mario and Luigi game. This is coming from someone who hasn't played any of the other games, so this is their, very first one. Yeah. I don't have much to add on to this, but I guess let's talk about the game itself, So Mario and Luigi got, it got the Paper Mario 1000 Year Door treatment here in Canada. I don't know if anyone else got it. For all I know, it could have been at like the Nintendo store in New York where they also got a slipcover. If that happened, well, I'll say what I said again. I got it first, so mine matters more. I'm not sure if there's any French on here actually. Oh, yep. We got some French. The French is for authenticity. So yeah, underneath the slipcover, obviously you have the game. I like this way more than the slipcover. Slipcover's, alright, but the box art itself is just 100 times better. I guess the slipcover will, preserve the packaging, because no one's gonna fucking see it. I keep it in the Luigi side, because Luigi is better. One thing I'm noting here is that I haven't played the entire game. I've only played about, 13 or so hours. I believe this game is, 30, 40 hours, but gotta go for that completionist, and I think that's, 50 hours or something. That's gonna take me a long time. So, basically, the stuff I'm going over is pretty much everything I've seen from this point on and my opinions on it. So, if there is something that I say I like right now, and I end up hating it later, well, it's because it was good for the first 13 hours. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here is the art style, or the graphical style, if you will. From the trailers to even just, I guess, playing the game for first 5 minutes, the graphical style is absolutely stunning. I love the cartoony, cel shading type aesthetic here. I mentioned a few minutes ago that, yeah, I have not played any other games, but I do know that they are DS and Game Boy games, and I guess a 3DS remake of a Game Boy game. So they all pretty much had a pixel art aesthetic art style to them, which that does have charm, but I think this new game has the most charm out of all of them. Different bits in this game has given them weird facial expressions and everything, and it looks really funny. Luigi here has his jaw on the floor. With the cost of the graphical style that this game has, you have some performance issues. Now, I don't know how it's affecting everyone else, but on my dusty-ass 8-year-old Nintendo Switch, I have had several hitches just randomly throughout the course of my 13 hours of gameplay, but it hasn't really negatively affected anything. I've probably had about 5, maybe 6 stuttering issues. Besides the hitches, the game has also had several frame drops for me, but it hasn't been much of an issue for me that is taken away from the game. I have seen online that there is a point in the game where something happens and the frames get really bad, but if Paper Mario 1000 Year Door remake had something like that right near the end of the game, there it wasn't actually that bad. It pretty much was 4 seconds of the game going from 30 to 20, which is still really bad, but it doesn't really take away from much of the game. I want to talk about the game's combat for a bit. Out of all the JRPGs I've played, this game has the weirdest combat I've ever had to play with. I'm really not used to the whole different button presses with Mario and Luigi, being able to counter-attack when enemies attack you by jumping on them or dodging their attacks by jumping over them. So this combat system is really new to me, and at first I didn't really like it. Not because it was bad, but when you first begin the game, you don't have anything at all. You don't have a hammer, you don't have special moves or anything. You just have a jump. I thought that was kind of boring for the first 3 or 4 hours, but after you unlock the hammer and eventually the bros attacks, the combat opens up a lot and I fell in love with it. Yes, I do suck at this combat system, but oh my lord, does it feel good to execute attacks. The timing required to press A or B depending on who's attacking, it just felt so good. Honestly, it's one of my favorite combat systems ever. Now, another part of the combat system you unlock later is this plug. They're badges. I don't know if any of the other Mario and Luigi games had, like, badges, but this game does. There's a ton of them in the game, and they are absolutely OP, but there's a catch. See, they balanced them. Something that I wasn't really expecting. The plug badges in this game are charge-based. Basically, all the badges have a certain amount of charges to them. Every time a Mario or Luigi will use one, the charge will go down. A lot of badges have stuff like 10, 15, some have 5, but those are for like the really broken ones. They're not even broken though. Auto using a mushroom when you're at low health is not broken. But I mean, it doesn't use up a turn, so I guess it is broken. Once it runs out of charges, it will become defunct. This is the only part of this system that I don't like. These badges have an incredibly long wait time to be able to be used again. Like the spiked ball one has a 30 turn wait time. Like it's just a spiked ball. It does 10 damage. What am I gonna do with it? Like I already do like 200 with Mario or Luigi, and you're gonna tell me that a spiked ball does 10 damage? Only has 10 charges and I have to wait 30 individual turns? I don't understand this game. That's the only bad thing I could say about the combat. It's a good system, like balancing out the badges so that they aren't just consistently OP is really good. It makes you can't just like cruise through the game. But that damn wait timer, man. Remove it from the game. Next up on my list, I have the islands. So I've only visited about like 9 or 10 islands, and they are actually really good. They all have like individual stories to tell, which is something I'm loving about this game. I heard a lot of complaints about how this game has like a lot of, I don't know, dialogue or something. Like it's a lot of like waiting and stuff, but I don't know, I never really felt that, at least in the time I've played. The game feels very well paced and there's not much for me to really complain there. The islands themselves look really good. My favorite one so far is Lottacoin. It really feels a lot like Booster's Tower from Super Mario RPG. My only complaint about the islands here is that the way to get to them is so incredibly slow. The way you travel to different islands is through this current system on the ocean map. Use your ship to set a course on a specific current, and you'll go across the map to the different islands that you find. Now that sounds good and all, but the ship moves incredibly slow, and even when you speed it up, it is slow as all hell. At the point of the game I'm in, I have to get the boat from literally the far right side of the region all the way to the far left, and even with the boat on maximum speed, it is still slow. I'm just going on my phone on like Twitter or something and scrolling until I get to the island. There had to have been a better way for them to design this. I don't think they want the player to just be scrolling on their phone instead of having their full attention on the game at all times. I genuinely think that they should have done like a fast travel system, because they have one in the game for like getting to the different islands you've already explored, but that doesn't bring the ship with you because the islands are technically following the ship behind you at all times. I'd like to say it's a minor complaint, but you're literally sitting there for most of the game waiting for your boat to move. It's not like Paper Mario the Origami King or the Wind Waker where you control the boat. No, the boat itself is its own island where you just run around, buy stuff, talk to the characters. There's no interactive element to exploring the ocean. The game just does it all for you. The only interactive element is discovering the islands yourself. That's it. You look through the cannon, which is, you know, a spyglass, and you discover the islands. That's it. That's all the interactiveness there. The rest of it is actually really good though. Like, the exploration is incredible. I already said it before, but the islands are great. But genuinely, the only bad thing in this game is waiting to go to an island. So this game has side quests. You can also collect these things called spite bulbs on the islands. So imagine you complete all of that stuff, and then you're like, oh, well, guess it's time to progress with the main story. Well, let me tell you something, because since you don't need to grind levels in this game, you're going to be sitting there for a while, just waiting. So we have the characters. I am a huge fan of all of the characters so far, except Snoutlet. He is a genuine carbon copy of Morgana from the hit game Persona 5. But if you've played both games, you will understand where I'm coming from. He acts like a pig, he makes pig puns, and then he'll proceed to say, "I'm not a pig." And he will literally tell everyone that he is not a pig. Besides Snoutlet, every other character is really good. I think Princess Peach looks really cute in this game. The art style on all of the characters, actually, like all the Mario characters, are really good in this game. One of the things I actually really love is how, like, the trend that's been in recent Mario games, that they take, like, voice clips from what the character sounds like normally, then they kind of splice up the audio and turn it into, like, a voice clip. I really love that. Peach's voice has been sliced up to make it sound really weird. Like, even the Toads have that exact same thing done to them. The only characters that, you know, don't sound weird with it are the new characters. Connie is a botanist. I love her. I love how she uses this little watering can, which is a huge missed opportunity. They called it a bonding can or something like that. I would have loved if they just called it a watering can. The only characters that I really just didn't like so far are, you know, the Toads. They're basic ass Toads, man. Who knows, later in the game, they could have some more unique Toads, but I doubt it. Like, after playing Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake and having to think about, man, we could get unique Toads again? And then we just get this. Give me a Toad with glasses, or like a mustache. Not some boring thing. Starlo is in this game. Her being in the game for 5 minutes and she already didn't want to say Luigi's name. I don't know what that's about. Without going into much detail, I'm not entirely sure what to say about these bosses. I mean, there's a Venus flytrap type thing and a giant bird. These two bosses were really hard for me. They both had like weird ass moves where I just couldn't predict when they're actually gonna hit me. The animations for them are so long that by the time I would expect for them to hit, they just few seconds off and then I take a load of damage or die. The bird boss, however, is the only one in the game that I game overed on. The boss fights in this game have these, I'd like to call them Luigi actions. I think that's what they're called, Luigi actions. The bosses have those, and they're basically little events that happen in the background where if you activate it with, you know, Luigi, you have to do this little segment where, for example, aligning a bunch of pipes or timing a throw into a fan. You basically just do that and it'll stun the boss for a little bit. I really love the addition of these. It's kind of too bad that the Luigi actions are only in the boss fights, at least for now. I would have loved to see them in the regular combat, because they are so much fun. I love how they just kind of break up the normal gameplay. You just have some fun for 5 seconds. It's really neat, and I can't wait to see if the game does more with it. So, it looks like we're done with my extremely long list of stuff I'd like to talk about for this game. I really like Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm hoping it stays that way, because if I like the rest of this game, it's going to make me want to play, you know, the other games in the series. If you decided to watch the whole video on my first impressions, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as check out my other videos. I'll see you guys in a week. Hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.